Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Genuine Podcast. I hope you are doing well. I know a lot has been going on in LA and it really is breaking my heart. Like, it makes me want to cry to see everything that's going on. And honestly, I had a bad dream this morning that ICE came to my house and murdered my whole family. Even though they're not murdering people, they're just taking people. But that was a scary dream that I had. But anyways, I know that was maybe not a great start, but I just want to be honest with like everything that's going on because now it's like affecting how I sleep sometimes now. So my heart goes out to all the people that are being affected by it. Of course, I don't want to see people's families separated. Like, that's not right. Yeah, again, I'm so sorry to anybody who is having members taken or they're living in fear right now. And I'm so sorry. That's all I could say. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm just really heartbroken. But I guess with everything just kind of going on, I wanted to do I guess a different type of podcast where I did want to bring that to light, but also I wanted to talk about basically the theme for this episode is our childhood upbringings as Mexicans. So me and Jerry are both Mexican, and I'm very proud to be Mexican. So I thought it'd be nice to just talk about our upbringing. So I do have Jerry on the line. Jerry, how are you?
Hello, hello. Doing pretty good. Just really locked in right now, so I'm ready to go, dude.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so then we could start with our report card. So, Jerry, what is your report card for this week?
All right, so I'd say for me, feeling a good maybe A. I'll just give it an A. Feeling good. Um, yeah, just feeling optimistic, and I got some things going on that are I'm looking forward to, and yeah, I'm just feeling good. Physically, I've been away from the gym for I'm taking like a week off because I kind of felt some burnout last week, and um, so yeah, I'd give myself like a C. I feel very unjuicy right now. So yeah, once I get back in there, yeah, hopefully I recover. So yeah, that's my report card. What's yours looking like, Bianca?
I think mentally right now I'm at like a C just because of with everything that's going on. Obviously, it's just so upsetting. It's so heartbreaking, and I've been talking about it with whoever like on the daily like recently. I don't know if you heard what happened, but with the Dodgers, um, that's like a whole thing with. Have you heard about that or no?
No, I haven't really kept up to date. Last thing I heard was like apparently a Walmart close to me, they snatched some homies. So that's the last thing I heard, and that was just through my family. But no, I have not heard what's going on.
Okay, so just before like I get into this real quick, I did like want to talk about this super briefly, but there was a singer. I forgot exactly what she is. I think she's like Colombian and like Dominican Republic, but she sang, the national anthem at Dodger Stadium, but she sung it in Spanish. And before she sang it, they told her, "We just want you to sing it in English." And she sang it in Spanish anyways because she wanted to show support of what's going on because the Dodgers have said nothing. They've said nothing about what's going on. And I think Kiki Hernandez is the only player from the Dodgers that has talked about what's going on, which is crazy because generally Hispanics are the ones that are supporting the Dodgers. And we have like a bunch of gear that we buy, or they have like, I don't know, like Hispanic Heritage Night. And they have like the ponchos and they have with the Mexican colors and like the flag. And it's just so crazy. Like, I don't understand that because we love the Dodgers and so many people have grown up watching them, and they still support them, but they're not showing the love back to our people in our time. So that's why I don't know. I'm so frustrated, and it's very disappointing to see the decisions that they're making.
Interesting stuff. All right.
Yeah, but anyway, so overall, I guess my mental going back to the report card, um, mentally I'm at a C. Physically, I'm still at a F because I still can't work out because of my whole wisdom teeth. So I'm getting close to the 2 week mark. So in about like 3 days, I can finally work out, and it's just been rough. Like I've just been going on walks, and I'm just, of course, just trying to be patient, just trying to wait until I could go back to working out.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, those are some pretty rough grades, man. But yeah, hopefully within time, you can get back to feeling good physically. And then, I don't know, man. I'd say stay away from your phone, man. Stop looking at stuff because it's already affecting you, you know. But that's just my opinion. Hopefully things look up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely still want to stay aware with what's happening because it's not right. Like I'm super fired up. Like I'm pissed. Like I'm pissed, and like it's really upsetting. So, of course, like I want to do whatever I can to support to everybody who's being effective, like going out and protesting or posting about it or just simply talking about it with other people because it needs to be talked about, of course. But anyways, you could tell like I'm very passionate about like what's going on, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong what's going on. But okay, so enough of that talk for right now. We'll get on into the podcast just to, I guess, brighten things up a little bit more. So, for our first question, what foods remind you the most of your childhood?
Alrighty. So for me, it's not even a food. It's like junk food. But it's Takis. I don't know if you're familiar. It's like the little spicy. What do I even call them? Like sticks. But yeah, Takis. I'd eat those all the time as a kid. And that's probably why my stomach's so messed up these days. But yeah, Takis are like my childhood represented in a bag. And I guess like a number two I would pick is ceviche, which is like a Mexican seafood shrimp thing. And honestly, I used to love ceviche a lot more as a kid. These days, I'm kind of like whatever. But ceviche definitely represents my childhood. So those are my picks. What are your foods looking like, dude?
Okay, that's so interesting. In terms of like, I guess like actual food, like you said, because they do have something that's more of like a snack. Spaghetti, but I think that's also just because spaghetti was my favorite thing growing up. It's not like my mom made spaghetti all the time, but it was something like I loved eating. Also, frijoles con chorizo, like that was, oh my god, that's like another favorite of mine. I guess that's specifically, from my culture, but I also kind of like you, I just remember my dad would give me hot Cheetos and then like a Coke, and then I would like backwash in the in the Coke because the hot Cheetos were too hot for me.
Dude,
I know that sounds gross.
horrible combo. Because you're already getting like spiced out, and then you got the Coke with the what do you call it? Like the foam. What do you call it? Um,
The what?
Whatever it is.
The foam?
You know, like what do you call the like sodas with the gas?
You
I
mean
guess
the
the gas.
carbonation?
Yes, that one. So the carbonation and like spicy doesn't mesh well, in my humble opinion. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My dad would just give it to me, and I guess I loved it when I was younger, but now I don't like hot Cheetos. Like I can't eat it, but yeah,
probably for the better.
honestly it is probably for the better.
Yeah.
But for our next question, what are your thoughts about spanking?
Ooh, controversial. Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty uh, would I say traditional? I just think spanking's fine. As long as you don't go over a certain point where it literally becomes beating. So yeah, I mean, I grew up being spanked and the belt, chancla, everything, you know. And I personally think it's fine. I think it shows the kid, hey, like you did something wrong, or obviously, I think explaining is important as well. But sometimes the kid knows when he's doing something wrong if they're of a certain age, and it's fine to hit him with a 1-2 if he doesn't act right, you know. So or she. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I think it's fine um, until it becomes like beating or something. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm just not a fan of spanking. I mean, of course, I think I turned out fine and I got spanked when I was younger, like you said, with the chancla or the mano or like, the belt and everything. I don't know. I think when I'm older, I want to do my best to not result to that first. But, if they're really not listening, then I think like, okay, then you could do that. But I just wouldn't want to do that as like my first choice.
Lame.
Lame. What? Okay, actually,
I'm
you know
playing.
what?
I'm
I
playing.
have a question though because spanking makes me think
Yeah.
of something like very. Oh my god. Okay, so did your parents spank you in public?
Let me think about that. That's a good question. I don't know if I ever did. Usually, I'd get a warning like, "Hey," just the way my family was set up. It's like, "Hey, your dad. I told your dad. Just wait till you get home," kind of thing. So I feel like I think I always got spanked or disciplined at home. So no.
Okay, interesting because okay, now I'm going to like air out all the all the
Very.
laundry, but I remember okay, so I don't know if I have like vivid memories of my mom like just spanking me out in front of like everybody, but I remember like we would go to church. I don't even know what I would be doing in order for her to be like, "Oh, I'm going to spank you." But she would take me to the bathroom in church. And I remember like if I knew we were going to the bathroom, I knew I was getting my ass whooped. And so I would be crying on my way to the bathroom, my mom carrying me.
Damn. Should have acted accordingly, bro. Come
What?
on.
I literally can't even remember like what I was doing, but I just remember that like being spanked in church in the bathroom.
Damn, what a sin.
Yeah, and then like in the house, there was like some point where I used to be like, "Oh, that didn't hurt." And then my mom would spank me again. She'll spank me harder.
I would do that too. I'm not sure if that's just like the default kid thing, but I do recall me doing that as well.
And I used to run away. I used to run away at some point, and my mom couldn't catch me.
Menace, dude.
I don't know. I mean, of course, like nobody wants to get spanked, but actually, going back to what you were saying, I think yeah, like what you said, it shouldn't turn into beating. Like if it's turning to the point where your kid's bleeding, they got bruises and, whatever, like I think obviously that's wrong.
Exactly.
But moving on to our next question, did you ever have a moment where you felt too Mexican or not Mexican enough?
Ka-chow. So, for me, I definitely feel like, yeah, sometimes I'm too Mexican for maybe getting along with other kinds of people, um, like other races. Maybe I haven't experienced too much of that, so I can't say for sure. But I know for sure that I'm not Mexican enough for like, I guess other Mexicans that were actually born and raised, or just like, yeah, I guess more born and raised. Because yeah, I just don't have the lingo. I don't have the lingo, the culture. I have more of like the American culture. And last time when I went to Mexico, there was definitely like a not a rift, but there's just it was like a difference, right? Between me and my cousins, even though we're like close to the same age. Yeah, it was just really weird. And I think they perceived me as maybe like colder. But over there, they're a lot more. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But I know for sure when some family comes over, I'm definitely not Mexican enough. So I've been Americanized. So, oh well. What about you, Bianca? How do you feel about that?
Me personally, I have never experienced like being too Mexican. Definitely more of not Mexican enough. I don't speak Spanish, but I am learning, so I could read probably like a little kid's like book right now. So I mean, we're getting somewhere, but um, a lot of it is just like not even being able to speak Spanish. And at my job where I work, I've had people literally roast me or be like truly upset that I don't speak Spanish. So to the point where they're just like they're making assumptions and they're saying things like, "Oh, are you not proud of your culture? Like your culture is so beautiful. You should learn more about it. Like, kind of like what's wrong with you basically." And I'm like, I am not ashamed of my culture, and that's not the reason for why I don't speak Spanish. If I did speak Spanish, I would speak it all the time, and I would be speaking it to you right now. But you know what? I'm trying my best to speak Spanish to you with what I know. And yeah, like some people have really gone off on me. Or there's another time when I used to work at Olive Garden, and it was like a Hispanic couple, they're older, and I'm speaking the little Spanish that I know to try and make it easier because I could tell like their English is not that well. And I forgot what I said in Spanish, and then they started laughing at me, and I just like was staring at him. I was like blank staring at him, and then I just like walked away. And then I came back. I was like keeping the conversation like super short, and then I think they saw that I got pretty bothered, and they're like, "Oh, we weren't laughing at you." And I was like, well, it did seem like it, but you know what? It's fine because I'm used to people making fun of me for trying to make their life easier, trying to speak to them in Spanish. And then they just they just were frozen. They were frozen and they're just looking at me. And I was like, I'm gonna leave this here. Here's the check whenever you're ready. And yeah, I think they felt really bad after that. But, I'm not over here saying, like, oh, you're in America. Why don't you speak English? So why are you giving me a hard time? Like, you don't know the scenario of like how I was raised. Like, my parents didn't teach me Spanish. So that's not my fault, you know?
Yeah, no, no, I get you, dude. And what was I gonna say about that? I mean, we've talked about that, and I always said like it kind of comes down to, I guess, just the culture. And I've said sometimes it's like Mexican pride or Spanish pride, um, that causes that. But at the end of the day, we should understand like people's situations. Sometimes the parents don't teach their kids, and there's all kinds of stuff that happens. So yeah, man, we can't fault you guys.
Yeah, it sucks because there's so many opportunities that I have also missed not being able to speak Spanish in general, just based on where I live here in LA. Because obviously there's a lot of Hispanics out here in LA. Um, but yeah, I really wish that my parents taught me Spanish because apparently my dad told me he's like, well, you didn't want to learn it, and I'm like, what do you mean I didn't want to learn it? You should have taught me anyways. Be like, shut up and start like speaking it. And yeah, I don't know, but that's my take on that.
All right. Well, good luck with Duolingo.
It's you know what, it's going well. I think I'm on day like 53 or something. So by the time this comes out, I should probably be in the 60s.
Nice, dude. Don't break it.
I won't. I won't. I've been pretty good about it. But moving on to our next question. What was your family dynamic like growing up? Was it strict, chill, or chaotic?
Okay, so I lived in the stereotypical huge Mexican household type thing, and I'd definitely say it was all of those. My dad was like the strict, so was my grandfather. My grandmother was like the chill. Sometimes she'd be kind of cuckoo, and yeah, sometimes like it'd be chaotic, I guess, because all kinds of stuff goes on, and yeah, so yeah, my dynamic was pretty much all three of those really. What about yours, Bianca?
For mine, I would say it was a little more strict and maybe slightly chaotic because as I've gotten older, I'm the youngest in my family, so there's honestly like a lot of things that I don't remember from my childhood and things that I'm kind of finding out now that there's some point like my Theo used to live with me. I had no idea or no memory of that, and like cousins And like I vaguely remember that, but I don't remember like how long of period of time like they were here for. And then of course like my grandma lives with me. Um yeah, so I guess there was definitely like a few people also living with us at some point. And of course there's a lot of lore that I'm not gonna say, but yeah, there were definitely like some rough moments like growing up in the household, but also a lot of my childhood was swimming, so I was just spending my time just doing that. I was just very busy. So that's why I say it was also strict because I was just constantly swimming. That's it. I was just a very, very busy child. And I've been busy for I think just more than like a regular kid.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly I forget that you started, really young. So yeah, it's got to be a very different experience as opposed to like, most of the people I know who are just playing Pokemon and stuff, watching SpongeBob.
Yeah, I can't say I did a ton of that. But moving on, did you grow up bilingual? What was your relationship with Spanish and English?
Okay, cool. So for me, I definitely Spanish was technically my first language, and then as I started going to school, I picked up English and started losing some Spanish. As I kind of like reached like like the 10s, 12, 11, that kind of age, I did kind of stop wanting to learn Spanish, just because I wasn't that good at it anymore, and I would constantly be corrected at home. So I kind of started rebelling and being like, you know what, I don't even want Spanish. I'm in America, like it doesn't matter. And it wasn't until I got like older that I was like, you know what, like I think it's super cool that I know a second language, and it is helpful really to have. And yeah, I definitely like want to improve it. Even though these days it's definitely not as good as it used to be, but you know what? I could still speak it and get around fine, and I'm happy to be able to speak it. Yeah. So I am bilingual, I guess. Yeah. What about you, Bianca?
I like how you say I guess because you could definitely have like a full conversation in Spanish. Unlike me, like I said earlier, I do not speak Spanish, but
Uh huh.
I think also just like growing up and swimming, because swimming is dominated by whites and Asians. So there were very few people like me. There were also like very few blacks as well. And I just remember there was a time where this was like when I was like in high school. Um my team that I was swimming for, they lived not too far from me. So where I live, there are like whites, but there's also like Hispanics where I live as well. And I forgot what the scenario was, but we couldn't work out at our pool where our team normally works out. So we had to go to a high school. And it was my high school. And my first high school was California High School, which is 95% Hispanic, or at the time, like it was. I don't know what the percentage is now. And I just remember all my teammates were like, oh, this place is so ghetto, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, they're going to schools where it's like predominantly like Asians. And I was like, I don't know. Like it just really stuck with me because I'm like, what are you saying? Like this is not ghetto. Like I don't think you know like what ghetto even is, you know? So just because you see a bunch of I don't know. Maybe I don't want to put words actually like or what I thought that they thought, but I'm like you just have no idea like what ghetto is because my first high school was not ghetto. And I don't know. I think it's just like they're so privileged that they just the difference that they saw there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean that's interesting. I so you kind of took it as like I don't know, like slightly racism, or what do you mean?
I don't know if it was like the racism part or if it was just like generally how like the school looked, but I don't know because I mean there's like nothing but like brown people there, you know, and the way
Yeah.
that the school looked, I mean, it was just like a gated school, you know? So I don't know if that made it look a certain way, but I mean, I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of schools that are gated, so I don't understand what made it look ghetto to them, you know? Because I mean, it's a big campus and yeah, it was just not ghetto in my opinion.
You know what? I mean, for me, I went to Kahai all 4 years, and not even based on like appearance or any of that, or people, I guess. No, I mean, in my opinion, it is ghetto because of the students and, being aware of some of the things that would go down there. So I always felt it was ghetto, um, but not just because it's beans, but because of what they would do, I guess. And yeah.
I don't know because I was only there for 1 year, and the other high school I went to was 40% white, and there were parts of it that were gated on the inside of the high school, and I mean we were privileged to like be able to go off campus pretty much like whenever we wanted, and we also had food trucks that would come like every single day. But I'm like, this isn't really like that different from my other high school. Like there was I mean, I think there's fights that happen at every high school. There are like a couple fights that happen at that one. So I'm like, I don't understand like what is really the difference, because I didn't see like there's a difference in the people, like predominantly who's there, but I wouldn't say it's like what they're doing, because fights happen over there, fights happen at Cal High, and yeah, so I don't know.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. But yeah, so those are my thoughts about or I guess my relationship with English and Spanish. So when I was younger, I guess I didn't really have an interest in learning it because it just didn't seem like it was something important at the time or that I needed to know. But as I got older, I realized like, man, like it would be so helpful to just be able to talk to my people, and it's just embarrassing when I can't even talk to them. So, and I think I definitely just have more pride with my culture because I think I was more embarrassed when I was younger because a lot of my teammates were whites and Asians, and there were some people that seemed like a little bit I feel like some of them were like a tiny bit racist. I'm not gonna call out anybody like from my team, but there's definitely some people that I heard certain things that they would say, and I'm like, that's no, that's like racist. That's racism, like what you're saying right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, but anyways, moving on. What's something you didn't appreciate about your culture as a kid that you value now?
Ooh, this question. Honestly, I couldn't think of like a definite answer. I feel like um maybe I think where I'm at now is where maybe there's some things that I don't appreciate about my culture. But maybe as I get older, mature, and understand more things, maybe I'll come to understand or respect them more. But yeah, I think as of now that I'm at the place where there's some things I'm like, But yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Bianca?
That's actually interesting that you say that. But for me personally, something that I didn't appreciate when I was younger that now I appreciate is the food because of course like I ate the food all the time and I don't want to say like I was sick of it. I was just like, I don't know, like it's just like rice and beans and I saw that all the time, but I don't know what happened. I think it's just because when I was swimming, I was eating 3,500 calories a day. So I was just like having to eat. Like I was having to eat no matter what. So I think it was just like, I just need to put this in my mouth before I like die, Like my body just always wanted food. So I feel like I never really truly tasted the food, if that makes sense. Like I was just kind of like being a vacuum and just like eating whatever. But now as I've gotten older, it just tastes better. I don't know. It tastes like I could taste the flavors more intensely as I've gotten older. So I appreciate the food a lot more now than when I was younger.
Okay, good. So you could actually appreciate it. And would you say you like more like going to a Mexican spot, restaurant thing, or your mom's own cooking, or what's your preference?
I think probably my own household or like my extended family or going to like a small like little more rundown place because I feel like I'm not gonna lie, I feel like restaurants don't do it as good as us. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think Taco Bell provides the best Mexican food. So, yeah.
You're disgusting, bro.
I'm kidding. That's a cut you out. But yeah, no, I prefer. What do I prefer actually? I prefer tacos in Mexico. Cachow.
I've been to Mexico, but I can't even remember like the tacos that I had over there.
Really?
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
was
No,
just
I
like too young.
I think rundown spots though, kind of like you said, like yeah, they could be better. So like even or like the taco places that go outside and stuff. Those are pretty good too.
Yeah, or I was gonna say like, basically like the food carts that are outside or like the easy ups that pop up and they're just like sitting under there. Like the people on the street.
Yeah, like that. That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or even like yeah, basically those are I feel like the places that are better. But
Legit.
moving on to our next question, what's something about your upbringing that shaped you who you are today?
Alrighty. So for me, it was I think definitely the way I was kind of raised and just like to be respectful and I guess well mannered. Yeah, I think I really value that because yeah, it's definitely shaped me into who I am now. And obviously, there are other things like the bad things that shape you in certain ways that I do think are important as well. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I think above all, I value like the way I was raised, the to be respectful and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I think. What about you, Bianca?
I guess I have two answers. Also yours is the same as mine. I think, how we talked about like the spanking everything, like obviously it teaches you to be more respectful. So, I think respect was definitely a big thing, of course, to like have respect for your parents. But also like swimming shaped me a lot to who I am today because I think just doing sports in general are such a great analogy for life because it teaches you discipline and self-incentive, goal setting, being able to work with the team. There's so many things that it teaches you and it could apply to other aspects for literally the rest of your life. So, um I think overall swimming is what has made me the most today.
Radical, dude. Yeah, I gotta agree. Like, I kind of wish I took sports or I was in something when I was younger, because I do believe that the values that it teaches you are important, like throughout life, and help you out. But oh well. But that's cool that you got to have that.
Yeah, before well, I don't want to say I realized the importance of like how sports really change you. I think probably by the time I was like 12 years old, which still sounds like really young, but yeah, I was able to tell like I was just moving differently than like most 12-year-olds and I was thinking really differently than most 12-year-olds. But yeah, so that's swimming has shaped me a lot into who I am today. Okay, moving on. Is there anything that you would want to pass down from your childhood to future generations?
Yes, absolutely. Pokemon, the love of Pokemon.
Okay, right
That's
on.
my final answer. Yes. What about you, Bianca? What would you want to pass down to the kiddos?
I think of course like I want to pass down the respect part because like seeing people grow up, not trying to call anybody out, but I feel like something that is disrespectful is like calling your parents by their first names. Like I think that's just like absolutely crazy. And that obviously your parents are your parents. Like your parents aren't like your friend. You know what I mean? So I think respect, and then also maybe teaching my kids to, I guess, like enjoy our food, because I think that's another thing though, was when I was younger, I was a very picky eater. So my taste buds just didn't start maturing until I was a lot older, but I think I would still want to teach them at an early age, like the importance of our food.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I've never, I guess, heard that. Oh, I have heard that. Never mind. But yeah, no, I think as someone who doesn't like, I don't like cheese, and it's on like every dish. So then people deem me picky. But whatever, it's not important. So yeah, I think if you can appreciate everything and not be picky, it makes life easier. I was gonna say though about, I guess, respect, and also like kind of like you mentioned, calling people your parents by their first name. Another one I've heard is like cursing at your parents. That's like a crazy no, dude. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Cursing at your parents, calling them by their first name. I'm trying to think of other ones, but those are definitely some very big ones that you should not do to your parents.
indeed.
But okay, you guys, so that was the end of our childhood podcast. Now we're gonna go into our weekly win. So Jerry, what is your weekly win?
My weekly win is I've been consistent with my. Well, I say consistent. It's been like 3 days. But I've cut out caffeine just because I don't want to go through waves of like being tired. I don't know. It was just becoming an issue, and I'm hoping to like regulate my system. So I've cut out that and some other bad habits, and I've been pretty tired the past few days. But I feel like now I'm starting to feel maybe a little bit of a difference. Like today, I just woke up super focused and locked in. I just feel good, man. So yeah, that's my win. Staying consistent, and it's paying off. What about yours, Bianca?
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that. I want to wake up a little more locked in and focused. But in terms of my weekly one, I would say probably, well, I guess I have two. The other day I walked for an hour because I'm not gonna lie, like it has made me a little bit lazy. Not being able to work out. So like of course like I just kind of accepted it. I'm like, okay, there's not really a lot I could do. But I know walking is, some form of exercise that I know I could do. So yesterday I did it for an hour and I was like sweating a ton because it was insanely hot. But I'm glad I did that. And also, I guess like another weekly win is that my mouth is getting better. Like a lot of my swelling is like pretty much gone now. So I'm just feeling a little more normal. Like I still have pain here and there, but it's more manageable pain. And I haven't been taking like any meds or anything. So it's happy, or I'm happy that I'm not taking those anymore.
Yeah, that's good, bro. I'm glad that's finally pairing up, and soon you're gonna be throwing around weight.
Yeah, I seriously I can't wait to go back to the gym and just, get shredded. But anyways, now we're gonna move into appreciation time. So Jerry, what are you grateful or appreciative that has happened this week?
I was really struggling, but you know what? We should always be grateful and find something to be grateful towards too. Whatever. And so I'm gonna choose Google Gemini. It's like their AI app, and it helps me a lot with certain things. And a lot of the features that are on it are free, as opposed to like ChatGPT. To access some of those similar features, you have to pay. So I'm grateful to Google Gemini. Yep. Who are you grateful to, Bianca?
Okay, I'm grateful for two things again. One of them was that I went to the park with Jerry actually not too long ago. So it was just so beautiful. Like it was so breathtaking. And I just, I don't know, the park that we went to, it was just so nice to like not be on my phone because I've been on my phone a lot. since my whole mouth surgery thing. So it was just nice to be in the moment, just like look at nature and just simply appreciate the beauty of the nature and the ducks and the water. And it was just a great time. And it was a great time to, spend it with some friends and to get out of the house. And also, the other day I went to my friend's house. Shout out to Ruby. We were making candy because she's going to a rave. And even though I'm not going to day trip, I'm probably gonna go to Heart Summer. So I'm like, oh, I might as well make it now. And we had like the most intimate like conversation ever. We just talked about so many different things, and we just had like really great conversations, and we just were kind of like on the same wavelength. And I don't know, just being able to have like a deep conversation with somebody is so refreshing, and just being honest with each other and being vulnerable about like certain things that are happening in our lives. So that just like really, I really appreciated that time with her.
Shout out Ruby.
Yeah, shout out Ruby. But okay, you guys, that is the end of the podcast. Jerry, is there anything that you would like to say to everyone?
Yes, thanks again for having me. We'll be here next week, and everyone, drink your electrolytes. Peace.
Honestly, I probably need some electrolytes right now. I definitely need more water. I can feel my head's kind of hurting. But anyways, that was our podcast for today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and be safe out there. Look out for your family and your friends. And I hope you have a good night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this or listening to this. And I'll talk to you all again soon.